After 6 years of planning and setbacks, I finally started my trip west. This week on Backroad Capers, follow along as I head west. A gas shortage and the I-40 bridge over the Mississippi River being closed didn't keep us from Arkansas that night. We met James and Elizabeth at the end of their one-year trip around the U.S. They started in my driveway almost exactly 1 year ago, so it was great to be at the bookends of their trip. We spent the evening catching up, sitting around a fire and telling stories. We've been camping with James and Elizabeth for almost 20 years now. We first met them off a Forest Service road in West Virginia. We pulled up late in the evening, and Deb asked, "How did we know these people?" And I told her, "I just know them from the internet." Since then, we've camped at least once every summer, and normally multiple times each year. The next morning, as we hit the road, James said there was the oldest bridge in Arkansas, not far off our route. Sure, let's go. And back on the road to Oklahoma. One of the things I really wanted to see on this trip was some of historic Route 66. So a museum in Clinton, Oklahoma should be a good start. It was a nice little museum, and who doesn't love a VW bus? And finally into Texas, or at least the Panhandle, and to a campground at the McClellan National Grasslands. This is the only camping we paid for on the trip, a whole $5. After dinner, we walked along the shrunken banks of the lake and to a dam holding back, well, nothing. The next morning, James and Elizabeth planned several stops for us. First was the Leaning Tower of Texas. Next, the Slug Bug Ranch. We couldn't help ourselves and tagged our YouTube channels. And if people won't know that they have to look at it, you have to.
That could be good for 4 or 5 more subscribers, right?
After the required pictures of Pongo, we were back on the road. The next stop was Cadillac Ranch. Cadillac Ranch is worth stopping at once in your life, but only once. A lot of trash, a lot of people. Another thing I really wanted to see was a ghost town, Glen Rio, which used to be a popular stop on Route 66. That night, James and Elizabeth shared a hidden campsite above the Little Colorado River. Pongo sounds a lot like a covered wagon going over these rocks. They had camped there before, and it is definitely one of my all-time favorite campsites. The next morning, we wandered through the Petrified National Forest. The Petrified Forest is known for its fossils, especially fallen trees from over 225 million years ago. It also has a beautiful drive through the park, with many overlooks of the Painted Desert. I even got to see my first petroglyph. I think it's a stork delivering a baby, or a stork eating a frog. You pick. Back on the road, and back along historic Route 66? The Twin Arrows gas station. But they had no gas. Deeper into the Arizona desert, I followed the flight of the crow's wing. Till suddenly we were crossing the historic Navajo Bridge and my first sight of the Grand Canyon. After stopping, we were back on the road, and soon we were back onto the dirt roads, searching for a camp spot along the north rim of the Grand Canyon. We picked a hike to do along Saddle Mountain to the North Rim. There were incredible views every step and totally worth the effort. Time for more pictures of the Tacomas. Yes, we are those people. And after the photo session, we looked at the map and saw a dead end on a road and followed it out into a perfect lunch spot. That night, I got my first ride-in of the trip. Riding along the Arizona Trail, every so often popping above the Grand Canyon. A few challenging spots, but so worth it. I'm glad I brought the bike. Almost to Utah. Damn, it's a long ways to Utah.
But I bet the fucker's not.